Hello, welcome back to Sims Proving Everyday. I'm Gina, and today I bring you my version of the Addams Family House. The house has seen a few different variations over the years. The outside of my version is based on the show from the 60s, and the inside is where I took some artistic license. I only filmed the building of the shell and some of the flooring and wallpapering, and I still ended up with over 4 hours of building footage alone, and somehow I managed to get that down to about 20 or so minutes, but stick around until the end of the video for the tour. Remember, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, help your girl out, please and thank you. And let's get into the build. The actual building of this is going to go by pretty quick, and this was the first build where I utilized a lot of different platforms. I also apologize for the planes if you can hear them. For some reason it's rush hour in Las Vegas. Anyway, the platforms, this was the first build that I utilized quite a few platforms, and they were kind of a pain in the butt. Whenever I would go to adjust a platform or try something, a staircase would disappear, or a wall would disappear, or wallpaper would disappear, and it was really pretty annoying. So I'll be the first one to admit that I need some practice with the platforms. I worked on this house for 3 to 4 hours a day, almost every day, since about September 24th. I wanted to get it out on October 1st to celebrate spooky season, but it just was not going to happen. This house had way too much detailing. I admit I probably made it way too big, but I absolutely love the way that it came out. The outside of this house is based on the show from the 60s, and even though I know that this picture that I'm going to put up here is a widely accepted floor plan of the Addams house, I have the actual book that floor plan is in, and what the author did was he created all these floor plans of these fictional homes from TV shows, and they're all from his own imagination and perception as well. So there's no evidence that the conservatory was at a diagonal in the house from the 60s, so I went ahead and just made it a rectangle. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that blueprint, and I have used it in the past when I built the Sims house for The Sims 2. It's just for this particular build and the size, and it was already so big, and I was close to the edge of the lot already. A rectangular conservatory was just so much easier. And we all know I have issues with roofing. I've mentioned that and admitted that a few times, but I went ahead and left some of my roofing struggles in this one, just so you guys could see how I kind of troubleshoot it, although it's going super fast, so I don't know if you'll be able to really see that. Right here I am working with the platforms on the inside. I made the entry on a platform as well as the porch, so that kind of messed up my hallway and what will eventually be the library heights. So I was showing some of the ways that I was measuring with the doors to see how high I had to make the platforms. And of course, some of this stuff did change in the final build. This house will be on the gallery, and my origin ID is Gina, GinaSPE. Speaking of the gallery, I do want to also mention that this is a very, 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 very expensive house. On the 64 by 64 lot on the Crumbling Isle in Windenburg, this house goes for 1,538,407 simoleons. And I looked at the bill's information, and it was like 61,000 simoleons. So, unless you have a very well-off legacy family, you might want to go ahead and use the money cheat to play this house. It does also take a while to put on the lot because there is a lot of stuff that needs to be placed, but there is no custom content. All of the music that I'm using for this build is from Epidemic Sound. This video is not sponsored, but I just want to mention that the titles, artists, and links are in the description box below. Something that I had done off of camera was I built a little wall in the back, and I picked out all of the windows, doors, wallpapers that I thought I might want to use. That way I just had quick access to go and duplicate them real quick rather than scrolling through the catalog every time I wanted to place something. I do love the way the sunlight comes through the glass roofs. I think that's really beautiful. For the basement, I wanted it to feel kind of cramped and maze-like if you didn't know where you were going down there. The second level of the basement is actually just the vault rooms. And for their pool, I wanted to do something a little bit different than just a rectangular type pool. So for the doors going down to the vault, I put the hidden bookshelf type door. And because we don't have any other bookcases in The Sims that look like that, to me that kind of makes it obvious that that's something special. So I put a whole row of them, so it just looks like a bunch of the same bookcase to people who aren't supposed to be down there. I do end up changing the final design of this bottom vault floor. When I was playtesting it, I did try to put a whole bunch of money in the vault and save it to my library, and then place it in a new save to see if the money would transfer over, and it didn't work, but I tried to give you guys a little something for downloading this crazy house. Any parts that I found frustrating, I stopped in the middle of and went to something else, and then went back to the part that was frustrating me. That's why we jumped from the roof to the front door to the basement to the upstairs, all that kind of stuff. And I do also end up changing the outside of the house a couple of times. The house in the show was actually pretty light, so I was really okay with leaving it light for a while, but then when I was playtesting it, I was like, oh, it looks really super bright, so I did end up changing it even after I changed it this third or fourth time here. I did run into a little bit of issue with the eaves and the trims, and quite honestly, for as much as I've played The Sims, I still haven't figured out how those things work, because I would put them up and they would look great, and then I would go inside the house and I had all these thick ass banners around the whole entire room on the inside, and I was like, ugh. And this outside color scheme I did stay with for a long time, like I said, until I was playtesting it, and then I thought it needed to be just a little bit darker. At this point, we are about a minute and a half or so away from the build portion being completed, and then we will get to the fun part, the tour. So I did play test this house with a couple of different families, and when I did the landscaping, I did include a lot of the creepy vines from the paranormal pack, and I made sure that the family could walk all the way around the property, and they became quite terrified. And then when I went in and played with the Addams family, my version of the Addams family, I did not have them walk around the lot. They just went into the house like normal and did their version of normal things, and they were not terrified. And in my version of the Addams family, I made Pugsley older than Wednesday. In the original show, Pugsley was older than Wednesday. In the movies from the 90s, Wednesday was older than Pugsley. In the new movie, it's kind of hard to tell. I can't tell if Wednesday is actually older or just more mature than Pugsley. But I do also want to mention that there is a lot of stuff from a lot of different packs, particularly vampires, paranormal, Strangerville, and there was one more. I believe I used a lot of Get to Work stuff. If you guys don't have those packs, you're probably going to have a bad time with the house. thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this Addams Family build. As I mentioned before, it will be on the gallery. My ID is Gina, GinaSPE. And I will also put my version of the Addams Family up there as well. The house nor the family has any custom content in it. Please head over and download it. Check it out. Questions, kind comments, and feedback are always welcome. Please stay safe this Halloween. And remember, be a nice human. Bye, everybody.